year from this. So we have the year. So our formatting here is lowercase m, lowercase a, capital Y. So we're gonna start, and I think for the for the cap data, I actually did this already for all of you, but we'll do this year. So we are going to say format as date words date format equals lowercase d. Oh, it's actually lowercase m d capital Y. We want it to be capital Y. So this cooperates. When we look at birds, we now have our year variable. So I'm going to pick 3 species, right? You would just be picking 4. I'm going to pick my American robin, neotropical migrant. I'll pick a, what else do we have in decent abundance? Blue jay, they're a resident species.
Mm-hmm.
And gray catbirds are native. I'm trying to think if we have a good non-native in here. We don't have grackles. We're just going to pretend gray catbirds are going to be our other ones. So first step is going to be diverse, in case I don't have it in. To subset to my species. So I'm going to start with my birds. I'm going to filter it. I'm going to say I want my species. I want them in American robin, blue jay, and gray catbird. So, right, that's going to be my step 1. I have my birds down. Now, my second step, and I can do this all in the piping, because, right, piping makes my life a little bit easier, is I can group these by the year. There's a year. But I also want to keep the species in here. And then I'm going to summarize it. And the count, because of the way the data is set up, each row represents a unique count, so I can do this. So I have my years, my species, and I have my count. And now the last thing, and I know this seems kind of wild, but really this is all I'm looking for, is I could run my model. So let's make sure I have the right thing loaded in. And I can say, I want to know birds model. I want to know how the count, oops, I need to say attack for data. I want to know how the count varies by year and species. And the family equals and I can hit run, and then I can look at the summary, and what I can see is that I have, oh, what did I do? Of course, I know what I did. Bird. Need to make sure that it knows that the year is a number, not a categorical variable. One more time. There we go. So what I can see is as my year increases, because it's significant, the number of individuals increase, and because my species gray catbird is positive and significant, it means that on average there's 2.17 more gray catbirds per site per year compared to blue jays or the American robin, which was subsumed. The last thing we could consider is, and we would need to have multiple in each category for this to work. It won't work when you have just one in each category. But I could say, okay, I know my American robin and my gray catbirds are going to be migratory, and my blue jays are typically residents. So I could take my bird species, and we can use, maybe you love them, maybe you hate them, but for loops are fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll say, so for I in 1 through the length of bird species, and this should look somewhat familiar to a quiz that you had, we can say if bird species I equals blue jay. If that's the case, we need to actually we have 16. So if it's a blue jay, then our migratory status is no. We can just simply use our else command and say otherwise our migratory status is yes. Run this. Look at our data real quick. We can see, right, we have this new variable saying whether or not it's a migrant. And we can't run species now because basically species and migrant with so few sample size essentially are going to be the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
But we can swap this out for this. Run this. And now what we can see is that as our year increases, right, the number of individuals increase, and we can see that our migrants have higher abundance, right, because migrant, yes, if this is positive, it means that it's higher than its other category. If it's negative, it means it's lower. This is positive and it's significant, so it means our migrants also have higher abundance on average. So that was all, like, I know